Coming into the Handycast, I'm Charles Hanagriff along with former LSU coach Dan Canevari as we are into game week now as LSU gets ready to start the 2026 season. If you missed our podcast last week on the LSU pitchers, you can go back and check that out on YouTube. Today we're going to talk about the hitters and the lineup. Dan, I don't. Did you guys ever start a season with the exact same outfield that you had the year before? Because that's where I want to start. I want to start in the outfield, and we're going to talk about maybe order here in a little bit. But I want to talk about bringing back all three of your starting outfielders. That's rare, I would think.
Very rare.
It doesn't happen a whole bunch. So they not only bring back all three starting outfielders, but all three of these guys have played in center field. And so I'll give you their offensive numbers in a minute, but you got experience out there. You got great range out there for this LSU outfield.
Great defensive outfield, great offensive outfield. I mean, you've got some people. I think the big key to the outfield and with the experience out there is having Chris Stanfield come back. That really solidified the outfield. We knew we were going to have Curiel in center field. We knew we were going to have Jake Brown back. But then Stanfield just gives you that stability in left field. Curiel is going to be a top draft pick. So it's really a great thing to have everybody back. And that doesn't happen much because a lot of times back when I was coaching, you had freshmen that grew into sophomores. Guys worked and waited. Okay. Now with the transfer portal, to bring your whole outfield back, that doesn't happen a lot because guys are bouncing around if they don't play enough. So it's pretty unique.
Yeah, I remember guys that started in the outfield because of their bats that, later became dominant infielders. I'm thinking about guys like Warren Morris and Wally Pontiff when they were freshmen. You kind of put them out in the outfield just to get the bat in the lineup.
Well, then on the other side of that, we had a guy like Ray Wright who came in as a second baseman, turned him into an outfielder.
Very important outfielder in one game in particular.
Yes, Ray Wright. I love Ray Wright. I love Ray Wright.
Stanford for sure. Let's start with Stanfield. I thought he was extremely underrated last year. Because for a lot of the season, he was LSU's leading hitter in conference play.
Yes.
Not a power guy, but he ended up hitting 298 for the season. And he was fourth on the team in runs scored, despite the fact that most, if not all of the year, he was hitting down toward the bottom of the lineup. So now you get a center fielder by trade going over to left field, and this is now an experienced bat in your lineup.
Plus he came
from Auburn.
Transferred, so he's got a lot of SEC experience. Here's a guy that took his role and embraced it last year. And there's nothing that a coach likes more than to have a guy in the 9-hole that's comfortable, that's a team guy, because really the way Jay does his lineup, he's really the second leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
And so if he gets on base, now you got the top of the order. And to quote the great Tommy Lasorda, okay, he was interviewed after a game, and they interviewed him, and they said, Coach, it was you guys won the ball game, but you only had 8 hits, and the other team had 15. Does that concern you? And in Lasorda method, he said, it only concerns me when they change the game and the team with the most hits that wins.
Right.
Because right now we had more runs, so I'm happy with that. If Stanfield can score runs, I've always been big on offense. There's really only 3 things I'm looking for as a coach on offense. I'm looking at your runs scored, I'm looking at your RBIs, and do you take strikeouts looking? Because that's really the key. Do you fight at the at-bat if you make it out? Do you swing and fight for the strikeout? But the big thing, do you score runs? Do you produce with your hits and your walks? Do you produce runs? And Stanfield is the greatest at that if you look at what he did.
Yeah, the runs scored were really, really up there, and he's got great speed. They don't steal very many bases.
Why would you when you hit like we do?
Yeah, there's not. I mean, he stole a half a dozen bases last year, but that's not really.
He can steal when he has to.
When they have to, yeah. For the year, I think LSU stole 50 bases, so it's not a big part of what they do, but he can run if need be. We're brought to you by Bayou Apparel, helping local businesses communicate their message since 2009. If you want anything LSU, go to everythinglsu.com. Everythinglsu.com. A few local LSU official licensees. Bayou Apparel is in that number. Whether you've got an established brand or a new one, their design experts can help you create eye-catching designs that fit your company's message with logos, event T-shirts, and promotional items for your business. Call 225-928-9090 or go to the website at everythinglsu.com. In center field, Derek Curiel is back. He is a draft-eligible sophomore, so this will be his last year with LSU. He's going to be a very high
Especially
pick.
when you're ranked number 8 in the country to be draftable kids. Yeah.
He came in with an enormous amount of hype and lived up to it, and that's so hard because the expectations here are so great. He had 345, 7 homers, 55 runs batted in, 470 OBP, led the team, 67 runs scored, tied for the team lead. He played mostly in left, but played a little bit of center. And at one point, he went 2 months without going a game without getting on base. So you tell me, when you have a freshman year like that, what you can expect as a sophomore. I would tell you that, everybody's going to be kind of targeting him, looking at him as the one guy in the lineup. But, Dan, to be honest with you, there was a lot of that last year. So you tell me, year 1 to year 2.
Well, when a guy, hits for 2 months and gets on base for 2 months straight, basically, he's going to get targeted. I mean, he's the key to their offense. He's a great player. I think, the media's hit on this a lot, but the kid put on 20 pounds. They looked at Jay, the great coach that he is, sat down with him and said, okay, what do we got to do to make you better? And that's a hard thing when you had a year he had.
Yeah.
And the answer is, can you keep the weight on? He said he lost 7-8 pounds during the season last year. Get the weight up, get more strength, maybe get a little more pop in his bat. That'll help him. If he's a center fielder with some pop that can have some range, probably throwing a little bit better, maybe steal a little bit more, or have the ability to steal a little bit more. There's not much to work on. What makes this kid special? I want to take this moment to give some props to some people. His character, his humanity. The kid's very religious, got a great family, very mature, very well spoken. I spent some time with Jay Johnson last week. He and his staff, Josh Jordan, when they recruit Josh Jordan and Josh Simpson, you got to be Josh to recruit at LSU.
Yeah.
But, or at least have a first name with a J. Okay? They work really hard at the character of the kid. Everybody can evaluate talent, but can you find the kid that's got the character? And that's one of the keys to Jay's success, and he's big on that, which Skip was big on. And I think that's huge. Not that the other coaches don't do it, but it's like a guy that can really evaluate talent, that's a gift. A guy that can really improve hitters, that's a gift. The guy that can recognize character and integrity and work ethic in a kid in those recruiting periods, that makes all the difference in the world, which helps you have a better team. Jay's really good at identifying, he and his staff, really good at identifying character, and he's not recognized enough for the ability to put a team together, especially in this transfer portal era.
And I think it helps you in the inevitable ups and downs of baseball. And I remember Alex Bregman as a freshman really never went through a slump. I mean, he was just gangbusters the whole way. But his sophomore season, he did. Adjustments, bad luck, whatever. He went through about a three-week period where he was really fighting it. But every time you just looked up, there he was just, taking more ground balls, back out there, getting back in the cage. And I think, Dan, look, the game is built on how you deal with failure, right? Okay.
It's the whole game.
Yeah. So
it's the game. That's the key to everything.
Nobody hits 900. So, all of these things you're talking about from a personality makeup help you when the game eventually throws you something that ain't good, right?
Well, we were talking about last week when we talked about Schmidt. Okay. Yep. Curiel comes in with all the hype. He's got all the preseason hype. Remember, he's still 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And a guy like Bregman. But when they come in and they have a good freshman year, they're going like, I got this thing down. And now Curiel, my draft year is coming up. Okay, I'm ready. You have a natural tendency to kind of say, I got this. And that's kiss of death in baseball. Okay. But then the second thing is now you're looking to up your performance from the year before. So you put undue pressure on yourself. And so that combination gets you in it. But the great ones like Bregman and Curiel may go through this. Hopefully he doesn't. The sophomore slump. They just come to grips with the fact, and they talk to people, is I'll keep working with my routine. I'm a great player. If I don't get in my own head, everything's going to work. But there are going to be ups and downs and slumps because I'm playing against some great players, and the expectations I have are hard to meet. But just stay on the course. And once they learn that, then they're solid the rest of the way. Look at Bregman's career in the big leagues. I mean, he's just been solid all the way through. Look for Curiel to fall into that same category.
I got a theory on sophomore slumps, and you can tell me if this is complete hogwash or not. If you're preparing to play LSU this year, you're preparing for Derek Curiel with an entire season's worth of film on him. You can go and this is the guy you want to attack, right? This is the guy that scares you. This is the guy that can go 3 for 4 and drive in 4 runs and beat you. So you're gonna concentrate on that guy. You're gonna focus on that guy. You're gonna look at all. Let me check my notes here real quick. All 258 at bats and find out the few things he struggled with, and that's all you're going to feed him. And he's got to adjust to that. And once he does, then you're good. But this is just my theory. That sophomore slump for some of these guys that are stars comes because now everybody's got the film on you. Now they know what to attack, and then it's up to you to make that adjustment.
That's a great point, Charlie, from a media guy.
Yeah. I listen to you guys when you talk. You think I wasn't listening when Skip was talking all those years?
Well, here's the thing. I think you hit on it. The fact is they've got data. When he was a freshman, they didn't have any data. He's swinging all of a sudden, and now they're trying to catch up. But here's the other thing they got. They got a whole off season to study it, analyze it, prepare for it. And so that time and the data make it more difficult. How do you offset that? You self-scout. You do the same thing they're doing. Right. And then in the fall and during the off season, you work on those things that you see are your weaknesses and you make them better instead of just saying, I got this. And I think Curiel's that kind of a kid.
If you're Jay Johnson, you walk down the hall and you say, Yeski, if you were pitching to Curiel, what would you do? Right? I mean,
well, really, Jamie Tutko is the guy. He's the video guy, and he does pitching.
Explain what for those that don't know Jamie.
Well, they've got a whole analytics team now, but Jamie Tutko leads that up, and he's in charge of the analytics for hitters. They've got someone for defense and got someone for offense. But Jamie heads the whole thing up. He's tremendous. Does a lot of things. They break that stuff down nonstop, and so you go to Jamie and you say, okay, how do we pitch to Curiel?
And then you anticipate that,
and then Jay and the chief, the hitting gurus, they get together and go, okay, we got to work on this. How do we fix him up? How do we make him better? And then that's what they work on. And people underestimate. Everybody loves fall practice, right? When they start scrimmaging and everything, but it's the work that's done around the fall practice. In this day and age of what I'm doing now with Youth League Baseball, it's the private lesson, it's the small group training. That's where during the off season you can really improve and develop the kids because there's no pressure to perform, and you can make adjustments and they can fail and they won't ditch it quick. And same thing with college guys, they won't ditch it because they're not being successful in a game. You're not going to fix anything with Curiel in March.
Right. Can I be honest with you? In the fall, I'm usually watching football. So I pick up in the spring.
Right, okay.
But I know you guys are working.
Right.
I'm usually watching football.
Well, like you said, like what Skip said, when I came here, there were 2 sports at LSU, football and spring football. Yeah. And we understand that, especially now.
Right.
I mean, it's been the talk. And we love football. The better they do, everybody does better. So don't get me wrong. But, yeah, we baseball coaches, we do a lot in the offseason.
And if you love baseball, we got a tour you can't miss at Marucci Sports, the Marucci campus here in Baton Rouge, makers of the official bat of Major League Baseball. You can see firsthand how the bats come to life. Book your ticket at Marucci Campus Tours. You go behind the scenes at the working facility, the wood shop, the paint booths, the finishing rooms. Plus, they've got some museum-style exhibits, hands-on installations, and the exclusive history of Marucci's craftsmanship and culture. Each tour includes access to the campus tour gift shop, limited edition gear you can't get anywhere else, and tour guests get a 20% coupon off of items at the campus tour store. You can book your tour at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Been on this tour myself. It's fantastic. You get to see how the sausage is made a little bit, but they got some really cool exhibits. I love that the walls are lined with baseball cards in parts of the facility, so you can really see a lot of the history of it at Marucci and maruccisports.com. Let's talk about Jake Brown as we round out the outfield in right field. 320 last year, 8 homers, 48 ribbies. Dan, what I'm looking for him, first of all, great athlete, and I think he's going to have a big year. I thought he got better as the year went along. He slugged .528 last year. That trailed only Jared Jones and Ethan Fry, who both really big guys, okay? I think the power numbers are going up this year for Jake Brown.
Power numbers are going up. Remember one thing about Jake Brown that people kind of forget. Remember when he came here, he was a pitcher and a hitter.
Yeah.
Now he's just a hitter and an outfielder. Okay, that means he's spending more and more time at hitting. He's getting better and better and better. Okay? Like you said, his power numbers are up. Another kid, tremendous character. You watch him in the interviews, you talk to the kid, very mature, very focused. Again, a guy from, grew up with the Tigers. And you're going to see that this kid's going to have a great year. He's got to be one of the leaders on the offensive side of the ball, much like a Dylan Cruz or, guys in the past that have been leaders. And look for him to be one of those guys.
When I say the power numbers are going up, 8 home runs, okay, I could see him getting into the mid-teens. It won't surprise me if the guy hits 15
But
homers.
gap-to-gap stuff.
This is the number I think is going to – he had 9 doubles in 178 at-bats last year. So let's say this year that at-bat number is closer to Derek Curiel, who played and started in every game, at somewhere around 250 at-bats. I think that doubles number is going way up.
Right.
I think that doubles number is going to double or better. I think he's going to be 18, 20, 22
Well, he
doubles.
runs well. Check his triples.
Yeah.
Check his triples.
2 triples last year. Hard to triple in that park, the Alec box, don't you think?
You get it. He's a lefty. You get it in the right field corner. You can. They cut down the triples when they put in the load seating.
It was no, they did. You're making a joke, but that's
No,
really
I'm not making a joke. That's real.
If
The ballpark got smaller.
It's a very difficult park to triple in because the corners are not big. There's not a lot of foul.
Neither the
territory.
gaps.
Yeah, right. You're 365 to the gaps, so. Hitting a triple to the gap, you almost got to hit it off the wall unless you got really good wheels. And then
He's got good wheels.
He does. And in the corners, you're not going to see balls carry them around a whole lot with a lot of foul territory. And then you're right, they took the bullpens and they put them out of play, and now you got the club
That used to help you a little bit with a triple.
Yeah, they
could bounce off the mound and give you a little fun.
Off the
Plus, you had a tarp. You used to have a tarp out there.
The tarp, the bullpen benches, all of that stuff. So it's not an easy park to triple in for really anybody.
Plus, the SEC parks are all small.
There is
compared to parks in the past.
I asked Jay this before they went to Texas and Oklahoma. I said, "Is there a pitcher's park in the conference?" And not really. Now Oklahoma, because it was so doggone cold when they went there last year, the ball didn't carry. But there, and maybe Dish Falk at Austin be the closest thing to a pitcher's park in the league. Everything else is a bandbox. Everything else you can get the ball out in a hurry. But triples are tough in Alec box because there's not a lot of room.
Jake's just got him on the road.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, and I asked, not to get off on a tangent here, but I asked Jay about building a team to win in the Southeastern Conference. You got to build it with the power bats, okay? But when you get to Omaha, okay,
you got to be able to do other things.
Yeah, now you can't count on driving a ton of balls out of the park. It's gotten a little bit better, with the whatever, change the baseballs or whatever you subscribe to. It's gotten a little bit better from when they opened that park. But it is a pitcher's park all day and all night. There's an enormous amount of foul territory. The ball doesn't travel very well because the wind's blowing in at least as
Field
often as
designed not for baseball, built for the city.
they built it the same dimensions as Rosenblatt,
but not the same direction.
The two parks could not be more different. So you got to build a team to win in the SEC to get to Omaha, and then when you get to Omaha, you got to do those other things. I remember the first time I went out to Long Beach. We're playing the Dirtbags, and it was at Blair Field. This would have been about 2002 or 2003. And every time Long Beach always came to Baton Rouge, their leading home run guy would have like 6 home runs or 7 home runs.
Yeah, that's a huge ballpark.
It's like, why? Well, not only is it a huge ballpark, but the ball doesn't carry. It's about 8 blocks off the Pacific Ocean. The ball doesn't carry worth a damn. So it's like, oh, they had to build a team of speedy outfielders. They had to steal a ton of bases. They had to play, a lot of hit and run. They couldn't count on hitting. They couldn't hit 188 home runs like you guys did in '97 in 3 seasons at that park. So you got to build your team for your park and your league. But then when you get to Omaha, it's different.
So Jay does a good job of that. But, as we're talking, Charlie, that's where, in my mind, Curiel and Brown, when you get to Omaha, come into play in Stanfield because they can hit balls in the gap and maybe get some triples and doubles and really.
Yeah, now in that park, you can definitely triple.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is that's where home run power is great, but that ability to hit the ball in the gaps and to be able to run. And with those guys in the outfield, you've really got them. Then you've got a kid, we'll talk about the outfield, that's going to be like a 4th or 5th outfielder. A kid from Prairieville, went to Catholic High, Daniel Harden. He's an athlete that's learning, went to McLennan Junior College in Texas. He's got a shot to really be a player. And then while we're in the SEC, there's a guy in the outfield, a freshman, Mason Braun, who's going to be contending for the DH spot. First baseman in high school his whole career, but they're playing him in right field. Maybe there's a chance he'd play out in the outfield as well.
Another left-handed bat. We're going to get to him a little bit later on in the podcast. We're brought to you by Cina, located in the heart of downtown Hammond. Cina, an upscale Italian restaurant serving traditional dishes in contemporary fashion, inspired by the abundance of fresh local produce and the ways of old. Cina, creating a unique dining experience. Cina's goal is to use local ingredients and delicious recipes to create an exceptional dining experience while also providing a fresh and inclusive atmosphere that can be enjoyed by everyone. Cina, in the heart of downtown Hammond.
Charlie, you're a foodie, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Can you tell?
I've been to China's, Hammond, been there a lot. Guy, Chance that runs it, great guy, does a good job.
Yeah, no, I've been by myself. I'm waiting for you
homemade
to take me
pasta.
There. Yeah, no, it's delicious.
I know your buddy Jimmy Ott goes there. I've seen him there.
Yeah, he's familiar with the place.
It's a really good.
I'm waiting for you to take me out to dinner, man. My phone always on.
There you go.
Give me a call. I'll make the drive down to Chino. All right, let's get back into the lineup. Let's talk about what's going to happen behind the plate. Cade Aaron Beatty hit .242 last year, 62 at bats. I think there's an enormous amount of potential here. Dan, he ended up starting 19 games. He started a lot of the midweek games, and he got some SEC at bats. I'll tell you the number that I really liked with him. 1 error. In all of that time, and he plays catcher kind of like when I think he's going to get right, like a hockey goalie. He looks like a catcher, man.
He moves by the plate.
Yeah, he's very nimble for as big as he is.
One of the things in that position is you got to be athletic in that stance. Yeah. A lot of people say, "Well, catchers, blah blah blah." You've got to have a guy that can be athletic in a crouch position, and that's a different skill.
And he's 6'3". He's 210 pounds. But he can, like I said, he's kind of nimble.
Yeah, you can move from there.
Yeah.
And his defense is what sets him apart from everybody.
I think there's some power there too, though, that's waiting to be explored. So he hit 4 home runs in 62 at bats. Now, I'm not going to tell you that he's going to get 250 at bats because even the starting catcher, Luis Hernandez was a starting catcher last year. for most of the season. Got 174 at bats. You know, you got to get the catcher out of the game.
He's got to get a breather.
Yeah. So I'm not expecting 250 at bats, but let's say he matches Hernandez's 174 at bats. Hernandez hit 9 home runs into 174 last year. I think Aaron Beatty can hit that number.
Oh, I think so.
If not exceed it. So you got some offense there, but the defense, I think, from jump. And then Omar Cerna, true freshman from Houston. It'd probably be the Aaron Beatty role this year. 6'2", 245, so he's a bigger player. Was the number 4 catcher in the country, number 41 overall player by perfect game, and the number 1 catcher in Texas. They play a lot of good high school baseball in Texas, Dan.
Good baseball. This is a unique situation. We talk about all the outfield returning, but you got Aaron Beatty, who did I played as a freshman, got my feet wet. Now I got the off season. Now I know I'm going to be the guy. Now I'm working at my weaknesses. I've got data. I've got some things. And now you've got Cerna moves in there, and he becomes Aaron Beatty, meaning he's going to spot in, get his feet wet. And let me tell you something, as a coach you look for, next year, Aaron Beatty's got another year before he's draft eligible.
Yeah.
And you got Cerna behind him who's not draft eligible. Your catching's looking real good next year. It's looking good this year, but it could be even better next year with both of those guys returning. So good job recruiting, good job stacking the deck, so to speak, for the years to come.
We are brought to you by Town Square Pizza, downtown Baton Rouge, next to Town Square on North Boulevard. For pickup or delivery and catering available Monday through Saturday from 11 until 8. If you're coming in for LSU baseball, get on down to Town Square Pizza. Delicious, personalized pizza with unmatched speed. If you're working downtown, you can get in and out for lunch. Generous portions and a delicious product at Town Square Pizza, North Boulevard, across from Town Square. I think I'm good at identifying fan favorites. When Stephen Milam got here, I said, you know what? Everybody's going to love this guy, okay?
Sure.
Because of the way he plays. And, of course, he's a little guy. And I think that's been true. I think Monster, and we'll get to him in a minute, but I think I've identified another guy's going to be a fan favorite.
We all have. Charlie, you're not alone on this one. This one's an easy one.
Zach York is going to be your starting first baseman. He's from Grand Canyon. 6'2", 295 pounds. They had to Lane Kiffin came by the baseball facility the other day. I was like, get away. He's not playing defensive tackle for you. 606 at bats, Dan. 32 homers, 157 ribbies in his college career so far. I'm going to go through all of the at bats here because this is an experienced lineup. There's a lot of college at bats, but Zach York. 6'2", 295. He can swing it from the left side, man.
And he's very athletic with that body.
Yes.
Okay, I want to say something, though, Charlie. Talk about
we saw him over in Biloxi for the exhibition game. That's
the fan favorites you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Mine, this is the beauty of baseball, okay? One of the things that baseball appeals, and we were always big on, saying this to people, is it's an everyman sport, meaning you don't have to be 6'7" to play like basketball. You don't have to be 362 pounds to play in the line in football. Okay, the reason Milan was a fan favorite, the way he played everything, but he was short, so he's like a lot of people identified this guy's short, but he can play.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach York is the other end of the spectrum. He has bodies like we do, and wow,
I've never been 6'2". I don't want to say how close I've come to 290.
Unfortunately, I've been close to 290.
Yeah.
Okay, and what I'm saying is they don't fit the typical athletic mold, so to speak, of the prototypical player, and I think that has an appeal. But they have personalities in the way they play the game. York's got a big personality. You can tell. He's got a big one. Milam has got his own unique kind of quiet, focused, locked in, hard-nosed, and those things appeal to people.
Don't you also have to work harder to get noticed? Because, hear me out, okay? You're Milam, who's 5'6", if he stands up real straight, okay? It's very easy for the first coach or a group of coaches to see he's too small. I mean, you go out and have one bad day, they'll write you out, you're too small. You're 6'4", 210 pounds and left-handed. They're going to give you every opportunity to play first base, okay? But if you weigh 295 pounds and you go out and you go 0 for 5, they're going to say you're too big. You go lose some weight and come back. Whether you're too big or too small, you got to stand out, or it's easy to get written off, I think. Stereotyping a little bit. to body types and say, no, this is not going to work. Go play football or something. And so you got to stand out to, get noticed.
Baseball coaches have this term. Those guys don't pass the bus test.
Right.
When they come off the bus, they look like they can play. And some of lesser coaches or lesser scouts fall into that trap where they get the easy pick. Like, this guy looks like a player. Credit Jay Johnson with finding guys that can play that don't fit the stereotype, don't fit the prototype.
Well, Zach York, I think he's going to have a lot of fun playing here.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to watching.
I think we're going to have a lot of fun watching him.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Milam as we move from first base to shortstop. And I'm saving second base for last because we got to talk about multiple guys there, so I'm skipping over that for now. Stephen Milam hit .295 last year, but he had you'll excuse the expression, monster postseason. He kind of struggled a little bit with the bat in the regular season. The glove was phenomenal. And remember, he was moving over from second base. He only made 5 errors in the season, which for a college shortstop is phenomenal. Dan, we've had some really good ones come through here. But with the glove, he was phenomenal. And the bat came around. Again, it was sophomore slump maybe. I don't know. But kind of struggled with, boy, in May. And in June, he found it last year. And so leadership role in addition to you think stellar defense again, and I think he picks up where he left off with the bat.
Picks up where he left off. He's kind of figured it out a little bit. I think he's real comfortable at shortstop. Again, one of those quiet leaders. He leads by example. And, this competitive nature kind of permeates through the rest of the team. Just a real great player to have on your team.
I think that he, as a switch hitter, it's a lot easier to put him up. I imagine Curiel will hit second most of the year, but you can lead Milam off. You can hit him in the 3-hole. He hit in the 4-hole in one of the games in Omaha last year. So he's got being a switch hitter, he's got some lineup flexibility there.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know where you.
And Jay kind of has some unorthodox lineups, so I wouldn't fit him into any particular role.
He could bounce a little bit. We're brought to you by Dependable Storage with 8 locations across Louisiana and 1 in Gulfport, Mississippi. Matching any competitor's pricing, convenient online rentals and payments, free use of the moving truck for new rental move-ins, and clean, secure, and conveniently located facilities. Check out the website at dependablestorage.com for locations, pricing, and rentals. Like Skip Bertman always says, at Dependable Storage, we want your stuff. To your starter for Milam. Again, you're talking about 500-plus at-bats. York, 600 at-bats. Trent Caraway, right-hander from Oregon State. 2 seasons at Oregon State, hit .281, 14 homers, 20 doubles. This is another guy with a ton of college at-bats. And Boicano, he heated up last year at the end, just kind of like Milam did. He was the MVP of the Corvallis Regional, hit 6 homers in that tournament at Oregon State, where they got a pretty good baseball program. That is a record at that school. And he slots in here at third base.
Slots in at third, backup shortstop for Milam.
Yeah.
A lot of experience. Great move to get him from Oregon State. They lost a conference. Right?
Yeah.
They didn't lose a game. They lost a conference. And but a guy very capable, a lot of college at bats. I'm sure going to improve on his numbers with the coaching on offense from the chief and Jay Johnson. So good on defense. So the infield defense, I think, is real strong.
It would be hard-pressed to be as good as it was a year ago when Dickinson at second and Milam at short and Braswell at third.
That's good as it gets.
Maybe as good a defensive infield as LSU's ever
That's
had.
what I'm saying, as good as it gets.
When the shortstop only makes 5 errors the whole year, and as a team, I think Braswell had 3, Dickinson had 4, and Milam had 5. Okay, yeah. I mean that's as good as you can do. So you're looking to
don't forget the first baseman too. They kind of come into play there.
They did, and you know what? Jones, he had some errors, but he also I thought became really good. Kind of a little picking machine there.
He was very good. Nobody's Trey Morgan, but he was very good.
Yeah. He got the hang of it to go at the bat. All right, so we're talking about at bats. York with 600, Simpson with, Caraway with 2 full seasons at Oregon State, Milam 2 full seasons at LSU. Now you got a 3-headed monster at second base. Tanner Reeves, who was here a year ago, Played 43 games last year at 262, but 2 full seasons at Blinn.
Great junior college player.
Hit almost 400, hit 398 at Blinn. Seth Dardar, who comes over from Kansas State, 2 years at Columbia. Again, 530 at-bats for his college career. Braden Simpson, 3 seasons at High Point, another 530 at-bats, hit 323. So you've got 3 second basemen, Reeves, Dardar, and Simpson, who all figure in. I don't know what kind of rotation he's going to go with at the beginning, but I expect all 3 of these guys to have some time.
All 3 of those guys will have some time. I think the opening weekend, knowing Jay, I'm just guessing here, but knowing Jay, Tanner Reeves would get the start on Friday night just because he's been here. He's got some experience, and it's a big deal to open up at Alex Box on a Friday night. I think the biggest thing with these 3 guys is who's going to step it up when the lights come on at Alex Box, because everybody plays well, at other places, but it's a little different at Alex Box on a Friday night.
Reeves, obviously all 3 of these guys throw right-handed, playing second base, but you got 2 left-handed bats. Reeves and Dardar both hit from the left side. Reeves at Kansas State, 18 doubles, 13 homers, so there's some power there. But this is a decidedly left-handed dominant, and part of that's by design. Jay wants a lot of left-handed.
Jay loves left-handed hitters.
Okay.
Again, 19% of population throws left-handed.
Well, then this is not indicative of the population in this lineup, because York is left-handed. Reeves and Dart are 2/3 of your second base. Let's call it a platoon for now. Are left-handed. Milam's a switch hitter. Caraway at third base obviously is a right-handed arm, also a right-handed bat. Curio's left-handed. Jake Brown is left-handed. Mason Brown is left-handed. If you're going to get him in the lineup as a DH, that's a lot of lefty bats, and so I wonder if Simpson against some particular left-handers might be the choice at second base, just to get another right-handed bat
right.
in
He's a chance to get in there. I'm going to correct you though, Charlie, but I was saying left-handed pitchers, meaning right-handers. Left-handers are going to face right-handed pitchers. There's a ton more.
Yeah.
And so that's why Jay likes it. The percentages are in your favor with that one. But yeah, you can see Simpson, coming in there and getting some at-bats. Also maybe in the DH role, because you're looking at Mason Braun being the DH as a lefty. So, there's some flexibility there.
With Milam being a switch hitter helps so much.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because it's going to be at or near the top of the lineup. But it's lefty dominant. That's not a bad thing. But if you're looking at, some platoon situation at second base, I think that helps Simpson a little bit against certain left-handed.
I think that's going to be the one that evolves and kind of settle into how that 3-headed monster works out.
We are brought to you by the Baton Rouge affiliate for USSSA. They've got events for all skill levels, host and league play, rec all-star divisions, AA, AAA, major league level, state and national events. A lot of events here in the spring. You can contact Lane Petrie, 771-9095, 771-9095, Lane Petrie and USSSA Baseball. I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about the schedule because everybody in the SEC is tough. There's no –
and you really don't know right now.
Right.
More than ever, Charlie, because of the transfer portal. Everybody's got a new team every year.
And you can be wildly off with these predictions.
Sure.
Last year, Texas A&M was a preseason number 1. Didn't make the tournament. Think about that for a second. You can't be off any more than that. Missouri won 3 games in conference play, the lowest number ever. They went 3-27 in league play. They swept Texas A&M in College Station. It was the only 3 games they won. They got swept in 9 series, but they swept the other series. So just in case you needed a reminder about how unpredictable baseball is. But LSU opens the season on Friday against Milwaukee. 3 games against Milwaukee. They're going to play in the Jacksonville College Baseball Classic in Week 2. Indiana, Notre Dame, Central Florida there. And then they should roll through most of the rest of this non-conference schedule. They got a trip over to Lafayette on March the 4th to play at Teague Moore against the Cajuns. And I believe, help me out here, first ever trip for Creighton to Baton Rouge. Certainly
we'd see them when we go out to Omaha, but not here.
Their coaches were always so gracious with us. Coach Service, every time we went over there was just phenomenal.
3 great coaches. Coach Service, Jim Hendry was the coach there, and then Jack Dahm was the coach. And when I was coaching, he was the guy in charge of facilities and practice. He was tremendous as well.
You guys practiced over there a lot. At Creighton. Anyway, they'll be at the box on March the 10th. So another season, LSU, preseason number 1 in some polls, certainly with a lot of expectations of this year. And I'm going to close with one thing, Dan, and this is not to jinx or anything. When people ask me about, well, they won all last year. Can they win it all again this year? I said, yeah. But you want to know what the key to last year's team, in my opinion, was? Okay. Cade Anderson never missed a start. Anthony Ianson never missed a start. Curiel, Jones, Dickinson, Milam, Braswell, Brown never missed a start. There was never a weekend where Zach Cowan and wasn't available. There wasn't where Case and Evans wasn't available. I mean, you look at some of these games played, that speaks to 2 things: intense preparation to get these guys in type of baseball shape. They had almost no injury problems last
Good
year.
fortune too.
Good, and then you got to. They lost Guidry for the year, but other than that, they were really, really healthy. And you go back to a couple years ago, Skeens never missed a start. Floyd never missed a start. You give me these guys that are supposed to play all year, I'll play anybody. You got to be intensely prepared, which they are. And you got to be a little bit fortunate, too, that you don't have some freakish injuries. You do that, LSU will be in contention the whole way.
Well, and LSU's always going to be in contention because we're LSU, and it's the best brand not only in college baseball but in college athletics.
Yeah. Looking forward to working with you again this season, Dan. We'll be downloading our podcast on Monday following every LSU series this year. For Dan Canevari, I'm Charles Hanagriff. This has been the Handycast.